Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about Mosfets, mainly gate Mosfets. There isn't too much to installing them. I think Mosfets in general, as long as you just really try to study the wiring diagram till that you're confident that you can figure it out, or you know what's going on. The gate ones I think are the most simple. Probably I've seen some that have 3 wires. Those are a little bit more tricky, and then you just kind of have to understand what they're doing. The gate MOSFET makes it kind of easy. This one was cheap, $20. I have a gate 3.2 that I got for $15, so that's the only reason I got it. I wouldn't probably spend that much money, but this one is alright for $20. It's the SSR, the Nano SSR, and does LiPo, any battery you want to use pretty much. And they're pretty simple. Let's see here. This side is your battery side, and then not to be confused with this side, it's a female Dean's over here. This goes to your motor, this goes to your battery, and then there's a black connector here. It's got 2 pins inside of it. It goes to your trigger contacts. And the gate is pretty much the same exact thing as far as wiring setup. It just has more options. It's got some LED lights on it that allow you to program it for burst fire and LiPo cutout and stuff like that, which is nice. It'll just physically not let your gun run. Say once your gun hits like 3 point, well, you actually set it by voltage overall. So if you want a 3.3 volts per cell, like if it was LiPo, you don't want to go below that. It would cut out at like 6.6 volts overall. It would just, your gun wouldn't function anymore, and this would, the MOSFET would just prevent your gun from functioning when you pull your trigger contacts. Other than running the MOSFET itself, which isn't going to drain your battery like crazy, but you just know that you're not going to overrun your LiPo batteries. This one doesn't do that, but it does protect your trigger contacts. And the way it does that is you have your battery here, and then this goes to, these two go to your motor. These matter in polarity on how they go to your motor, because you want your motor spinning in the right direction. These do not, because it's just like a switch. So normally when I put these in, I put these as the same color wires, and then you got your red and black. On my gearbox, I actually have the trigger contacts here. They're green. And here's the trigger contacts, because it doesn't matter how the plug plugs in. It plugs in both ways. It doesn't really matter. It's just a switch. So then here's to the motor contacts. And then, because the G&G gearbox is a little bit tricky, there's a slice there, and this one was small enough to fit through. Still kind of annoying. I'll probably put a connection in here. Now I can leave the MOSFET and the buffer tube and stuff. I just didn't have the connectors on me. And these go to your motor, so it goes to your gearbox down in here. And I'll take this apart and I'll show you how that how it sets in there and how it's wired to your trigger contacts. But they're pretty basic. It basically just redirects the power from your battery and splits it, and you go to your trigger contacts, and it doesn't give them the full voltage that you normally give, like with a 3 cell. Say you're giving them 12.6 when it's fully charged. That's going to cause some arcing. There's a resistor in here. I'm not actually sure which one is the resistor. I mentioned both those are. I'm not sure. It's hard to kind of, I haven't really taken time to read the circuit board and see what's going on with it. But this one, it just doesn't send the full voltage. I think it sends like 3 to 5 volts. I haven't actually checked. And then it'll send full power to your motor. And you pull the trigger, this makes contact. This basically, you can see the resistor or MOSFET transistor. There's a few, they're all pretty much for airsoft. I've seen people make them kind of with everything. It's just an electrical switch is all it is, and the electrical switch allows the power to be thrown from here to here by electricity from here. So it waits for the signal that you give it with the trigger, goes through the trigger contact port here, tells this electronic switch to give full power, and your trigger contacts don't burn up because it's not getting the full power. It's bypassing. So essentially, if I'm to draw it out here with a pen, you have your battery, and say, let's see, positive, negative. Obviously, red is positive, or the vertical pin is positive, the flat one is not. So you go positive, negative to the battery or to the motor, and then you got 2 leads to trigger contacts. So power sits here from the battery. There's a little, just like 3 to 5 volts fed through here to the trigger contacts. You make a loop, gives a signal to here, and then tells the motor to go. It's pretty much as simple as that. There's some 3-wire harness ones, and they all work off the same principle. They're just sharing the ground of the motor. And those, I mean, they're not harder to put in, but I mean, conceptually, for me, there's more wires in your gearbox with this, but conceptually, I mean, these are programmable and stuff like that, and if you can find one for as cheap as I did, like the 3.2, they got a lot of nice options, and they'll do a lot of stuff for you. So I'll take it apart now. Oh, hopefully I can get it back together. Come on now. So the gearbox is open. You can see, just a little heat shrink got caught there, but it's definitely tight. You know, you're running 3 wires right by the motor. But this wire, you can kind of bend it and form it, and I'll show when I put that back together. But you can see here, I'll get my pen out again, the trigger contact there I soldered to this trigger contact. I was lazy, I didn't even take it out of the gun. I just touched my soldering tip to there. Here's my iron actually that I use. I just touched it to there, and then I grabbed a Allen key, and then I did the one down in here and just touched it and slipped it under. So I didn't have to remove the trigger contact on this gun. That's just doing it the lazy way. I was comfortable with soldering it. I knew I wasn't going to melt the plastic or anything. So but you can see this one already wants to like pop out. They kind of stay in pretty good. They'll hold their shape. When you're first putting them in, it is a rough experience. I say the first time I did this, I didn't want to have to ever do it again. But after you get them, they'll hold their shape, like you can see now. When you first put them together and you're pinching your gearbox back together, it just does not want to work for you. It does not want to do anything. But you can just kind of see you got the greens going through there, and then the red and the black just immediately cut over. Normally it'll go up to the trigger contacts, then you only have one coming across. But you have to go up to the trigger contact back, and then you have to the red go across. So you just got to be mindful that when you're putting your motor in and you want to make sure you're up by the bevel gear, it shouldn't be wearing against this wire here. So I'm going to just slip it back together now. Huh, if it were that easy. So, just going to do it like I do it. Props to whoever showed me how to put a gearbox together on YouTube once upon a time. And like always, the anti-reverse does not want to go just quite, and we get her. And when you first put it back together, the wires will be way more. There's pins that hold there, and it'll be really tough to get back together. And it kind of, I don't know, but I've taken this gearbox apart probably 5 or 6 times in the last few days here, so it's kind of been a piece of cake for me to get it back together. So hopefully I didn't make that look too easy. I mean, I did the AOE, I did the shimming, and then the shimming's not right, then I take it apart, and, you know, and then just kind of get lucky sometimes. But I will put it back together, we'll put the motor in there, and I'll show you just kind of what's going on. I have an S&P sitting in the gun that this fits in, and for some reason this doesn't fit in my King Arms gun. This is the G&G gearbox for my brother's gun, and I thought it'd be funny to put an S&P in it because it's a Femme Fatale, and unfortunately I couldn't play today, but no hard feelings, right? I'm having fun teching-ish, Okay, so before I even worry about that, I'm just gonna get the motor on there. I got the motor grip somewhere over here. Yep, see? Yeah, nice gun. You know, just gonna hold it, but you can see it doesn't sound the best right now because I'm holding it together. But I don't know if I get better trigger contact response compared to the what I had in here before, or trigger response. I mean, before it was pretty good. It's hard to tell. It's just something healthy to run in your gun as a Mosfet. They're not crazy hard to put in if you have a little bit of soldering experience.